Hello everyone, this is Muhammad from Python Ninja YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn variables in Python together. Variables in Python can be defined as a container, and that container holds or store the values or can store the value of any the values of any format. This variable or these variables behave according to the data type or format of the contained values. For example, if we initiate a variable that will hold a string, then this variable will behave as a string and we can apply string operations. The same for other data types like integer or boolean. So we have the first group of variables, which is a numerical var numerical variables. Okay, and these variables can be classified to integer or float. And for like considering uh, the an example of the numerical values, we have, for example, age equal 35, and we can print it directly, and we can visualize what inside the variable age. Remember to contain the variable as it, don't add like single or double quotation inside this print statement, otherwise it will print the variable the string representation. It will not go to extract the value of the variable. We can also print in more different way. We can, for example, print like this and then we can say for example your age, and we use the comma. Your age is, and here we use a comma, and we insert this variable in this print statement, and we add another string here, representation, or another string completion. Your age is 35 years old, and we run this directly. Consider that not to add more space. When we use the comma separation, we can print in another way this variable by using the concatenation, but consider that by with this way we have to cast the type of this variable into string, otherwise we will have like type error. So what we can do is to cast this variable to string. At the next tutorial we will speak more about the type casting. And now we inserted this as a string now, and here we have to add more extra space to this. We can also print this variable using f string, and later in next tutorials we will learn more about like the f string and its alternative like row string, and the different type of a printing variable as a string. But now take it as it. For the f string we use this form. So we can also add this variable using f string. We can say your age is, we open curly bracket here, and we insert age, and we complete the remainder of this sentence, years old, and we see that it print the a complete sentence. So this is an example of a numerical variable. It is like integer, and we can give another example. For example, a quantity equal 50, and we can print the variable here. For example, I will use f string here. We say the total number of item, and we open curly bracket here, we open curly bracket here, and we insert the a quantity variable, and we print this to the output side of the editor. We have, this is like the integer, and we will speak now about another category of a numerical value, which is a float. When we have like decimal point, we use decimal point, we can speak about the float variable, but we must be careful here, since we have to give like right name for the variable. For example, it is useless to use a quantity as a float. Instead, we can use different variables in different applications. For example, we can say the price here equal 10.50, and so we have to use like representative variables when we conduct our coding and initiate our program. So this is the float, and we print the float variable as same as the integer. We have also another category. We introduced that in the previous tutorial, which is string. And how can I initiate a string variable? For example, I can say item one equal, for example, rent. Okay, so the string variable is initiated using single quotation or double quotation. Now, or triple quotations. Now, I want to initiate a string variable. So we have the first item as for example rent. For example, I can initiate different string variable. For example, the city or the country. And for example, I live in Leiden, so I say this variable will store Leiden. Any string representative variables can be treated as a string, and it behaves as a string. Now we want also to shed the light to another category of variables, which is boolean. Okay, boolean variables. The boolean variables can be initiated using the like a built-in bool. Like this, we have the first variable or any variable we want. We can initiate boolean variable by using this class or this syntax. Um, well, for this syntax, it initiated var as a boolean, but the default value here will be false. So if I want to print this variable, and we'll see that this is false, if I insert 0 inside, it will be also false. And if I put any value other than 0, it will be true. And if I also put inside -1, it will be also true. Now we can also initiate boolean using like direct naming of a true and false. For example, active active, for example, true. So today this task is active, or it could be false, this task is not active or inactive. What I want to recommend is not to use the string quotation when you define the boolean. That will cause you a problem, because it will not be boolean, it will be string. For example, don't use like this print, for example, when you initiate active, don't do like this, because it will not be boolean, this will be string. What inside the single or double or triple quotation is string representative. Also, do not use the Python keyword like true or false to assign or to initiate like variables or another variables. Like this is like syntax scientifically error in the definition. So this is not Pythonic way. So don't use the keyword or the reserved keyword in Python to define your variable. Also, I want to mention that the Boolean variables like true and false are considered as a subclass of integers. How is that? For example, I will print, for example, 10, it will print 10. But if I want to add to this 10 true, then it will be 11. If I want to add another true, this will be 12. If I want to add false, then it will minimize by 1. Sorry, it will not affect, it only just add 0 to the whole. So the case is here, true is 1 and false is 0. So you add 1 by 1 when you add true, but false will not affect the code. We concluded now the variables and the different type of variables from integers to float to string and to boolean. Now I want to speak about the multiple assignment of variables. For example, I can say x equal 10, y equal 20, z equal 30, and I can print here x, I can print here y, and print z, and we will see all variable are defined and printed, but the more alternative or more Pythonic way, we can use multiple assignment to do this, so we can minimize the number of lines of code we have. For example, I can say x comma y comma z equal 10, 20 and 30, and then I move this and I want to print these variables, and we have the same, so we shrink it 3 lines by 1 line, and we can assign single value to multi variables. For example, if both variables x, y, z should be initiated with one variable with one value like 0, then we can do like x equal y equal z, and this will share the same value. Then we want to speak about variables swapping. How can we change variables? For example, we have x equal 5, we have y equal 6, and how can I change the value of x and y? We can do this in like a primitive way, like I can introduce a new variable z and I can assign it to x, then I can say x equal y, then I put the value of y to x, then I can say y equal to z, and then I delete the value, I delete the value of the new variable I introduce, which is z, and then I print x, and then I print x and y. When we use comma, it print also additional variables, so we can see that x now it becomes 6 and where y become 5, but we can do it in more Pythonic way and more elegant way. We swap the variable like x comma y equal y comma x, and this will give me the same result of this, like, but one using one line of code, not like this x. And now since we swapped here, so we return to the original, but here we can see the same result we have. Okay, before closing the variable, I want to speak about the constant. Sometimes if we work in random generation, we want to fix some constant in our code just to ensure the reproducibility. So usually constant is defined using capitalized word. For example, if I use here seed, for example, equal to 20, I can print it without any problem. But if I want to use this as a constant, this seed shouldn't be modified. For example, I can here modify it by 1 equal plus 1, then it will become 21. This is not a good practice. So we want to fix this seed to be 20. For that, we use a Python module. Again, Python module is a Python file that is integrated with the Python and contains some function and variables. In the Python, we can use it later. So we can use from typing import from typing we import final, since we need the value to be final. Okay, this is seed equal to 20 here, and we want to fix the value of this variable to be constant. Okay, now we write like this: seed, the type of seed is final. When I write using a semicolon, using colon, and I add final, then I insert the value. It will be identified as as a constant. Now if I want to change this seed is defined as constant, okay, but if I want to increase this seed, for example, by 1, okay, then I will have a new underline word seed come here, and if I just put the cursor onto it, it will show that, oh, seed is final, couldn't be assigned. However, it can be changed here. If we print this, then seed will be changed, so it will become a +1, but we at least have a warning here. How can we interpret this? We have variable here, we have colon, then we have final. Final is the data type. So in Python, we can write like this, for example, colon, then we have integer data type equal 5. So this is another type of defining the variable, and this call is type annotation in Python. So we define the data type of the variable. We will give more details in next tutorials about this advanced annotations. And finally, I want to close with the variable conversion. Remember, you can use underscore as a variable. So I have underscore here, I assign 500, and I introduce another variable that contain 1000, and then I have b, which is equal to the 500 plus the underscore. Okay, so conceptually we can see that a is equal B since we add 500 to 500 here. So how can I compare A and B? I can print equal using like assignment operator, and we can see double equal to B, then will be true in term of value. So we compare value, but if I use a reserved keyword which is is, then it will be false because is compare the memory address ID. A will have one different ID than the B when we use, and when we compare it using B, it will be different. But when if we use the assignment operator, when we will have the same the conversion based on value. So we can print the ID of A just to see if both are different or not, and we compare the ID of B here, and yeah, we can notice that we have both different in terms of IDs. And finally, in conversion or variable conversion, we can compare also boolean. How can we compare boolean? We can, for example, say true is it true, and this is true. True is false, and that is false. Or true is none. Okay, this is false. So this can be used like if you have a binary based application and you want to compare like events or situations, if this is on and this is off, and based on that you decide what next step to do in the code. Sorry for elongating this tutorial, and that's for today, and see you next tutorial where we will speak about typecasting and byte.